Hello and welcome to Season 5 of Be the Good with Kate Chericello. How are we here already? Honestly, it comes down to that first step. Taking an idea, then taking an action on the idea. Getting on that train, so to speak. And now, over 50 episodes later, here we are. And that's a recurring theme with every guest. We all have the power to make a difference. And once we take the first steps, we can amaze ourselves with what we are capable of and how we can make the world a better place. Be the Good with Kate is all about people doing good in the world while following their passions. Good for their own souls and for others. I get so excited about each and every episode of Be the Good to share with you, and I hope you find inspiration in these people and stories. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thanks so much for your support. I'm so glad you found Be the Good and would love to hear from you. If you also want to continue to spread these stories of good news, I'd be thrilled if you shared via Instagram, Facebook, email, however you can. Every share, subscriber, like, review on podcast platforms, comment, and so on helps me to share these guests' wonderful works to more people. Thank you for your help in this. Now, on to this week's episode. Let's spread a little more goodness in the world.
Today's guest is Mark Raymond Jr., and he has quite the story of perseverance and hope and determination, and I can't wait to hear right from his mouth. So, Mark, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Mark is a founder of the Split Second Foundation, which, again, he will give you the full story, but really reminds us all how much our lives can change in a split second. And the Split Second Foundation really focuses on helping disabled people in a whole new way and build community. So, Mark, without anything else from me, please tell us more about who you are and what you do in your own words.
Thank you so much, Kate. So I am Mark Raymond Jr., as you mentioned. I'm the CEO of Split Second Foundation. I started this organization because my life changed in a split second on July 4th, 2016, after a diving accident left me a C5 quadriplegic. So I dove off the back of my best friend's boat and shattered the fifth vertebrae in my neck. Woke up literally 3 weeks later in the hospital with, tubes connected to me, beeping, making all the noises. And doctors telling me that I wouldn't walk again, and I was paralyzed. And I had to learn how to live this new life. Immediate thoughts on that was like denial, right? Like, no way, this can't be me. This can't be my life. And I quickly learned, though, through all of this, how underserved the disabled population was with resources and information. And it took me a while to really get all connected with all the resources and a better understanding of, how to live this life, quite honestly. And after I did, I wanted to give my experience back to people so that they could have a better quality of life than I did in that like immediacy, right? I hope that's a word. But so we founded the Split Second Foundation to really provide resources for folks following tragic accidents or strokes or, really disabling conditions at this point. One of the glaring needs that we saw was a lack of fitness programs for people, like post outpatient therapy facilities. Another big one was like a lack of, let's call them social worker advisors, people that can connect folks who are in these situations to resources. So those are the two big buckets of programs that we created. First being Split Second Fitness. We're the first intentional rehab-based fitness center in the Gulf South. We serve a host of disabling conditions, but the bulk of our clients have a spinal cord injury or have had a stroke or amputation. And then we have our Split Second Cares program, which is like a case management / mental health program that helps really get people to a better quality of life quicker, right? It helps connect them with resources, make sure they're getting all the stuff that they need at the home, but kind of to really be that quarterback for folks and help, get them where they need to go quicker.
Right. So you're hitting the physical and the mental aspects.
We wanted to create a holistic environment where we were kind of really being intentional with the way that we engaged the whole set of a person's needs.
That's fantastic. And talk about like the attention to detail too. I know I'm in the fitness world as well as a personal trainer and fitness instructor. And so often clients who are, considered able-bodied and, all of that come in and like, why isn't just showing up to the gym fixing everything? And it is because, well, what are we doing for the mental aspect too? And so often those two aren't working in tandem. So the fact that you're doing that for someone who has so much going on in their lives, that's incredible. And when did you, because I know that second part with the mental part is newer, when did you realize you wanted to add that on?
So it's been in the works for the last 3 years. What I didn't have was funding for it.
Sure.
So this year we actually received a grant to launch the program and hire the initial staff that's going to be doing a lot of the work, right? But I've always wanted to create, a set of holistic programs that could really touch the mind and the body. And honestly, next up for us is really financial literacy, helping people manage their resources and really get an understanding of how they could still build wealth post disability while being on some fixed incomes. So yeah, we're really trying to touch all of a person's needs, right?
You're doing a lot. So you gave a fantastic overview of just the journey, the path. But one thing I wanted to hone in on and ask you about a little bit more in that is, was there a moment after your injury when you went from thinking, how can I help myself, to how can I not just be helping myself, but also make this about all these people around me and helping them as well?
Absolutely. So about a year after my accident, I got discharged from from outpatient therapy. And me and my mom, in that search to find other things for me to do, ended up in Sacramento, California at this activity-based fitness program called SCI Fit. And it was there that I got a lot of these ideas. But to your question about the aha moment, it was there where I was like, as soon as I rolled in, I was like, man, we need something like this in New Orleans. Like, so many people would benefit from something like this. And that was the spark, right? Like it was immediately not just about me, but how could I do this and impact as many people as possible with these types of programs and services. Yeah. Aha.
That's remarkable. That is remarkable. So going with that, with people you've helped, or a story about yourself too, what are some good news moments along the way? Because I feel like so often when it's with injuries and disabilities, we do talk about the problem, the issue. So you seem to focus on how can we help? What can we do to make it better? Do you have any stories you want to share about people that you've interacted with along the way that you've helped?
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many split-second stories is what we've come to call them, right? Like that moment, and seeing, like, now we have success stories. One of a good one is my client Stevie Stevens, who started with us in about I think it was May of last year, May of 2021. The first day he came in a wheelchair, had very little function, was really in his shell, injured from a traumatic brain injury from a car accident. And Stevie today is walking and texting and, kind of getting back to like this autonomous human being, that that has a personality. And it's amazing. And that's one. Another good one is another client named Speedy. When Speedy came in, young kid, kind of really trying to figure out life and navigate some things. Since he's been with us, he's gotten an apartment. He's enrolled in college. He's gotten a car. He's independent, right? Like, seeing that growth in people, even though it's not like the physical stuff, and both of them have physical outcomes that we're super proud of, but it's the functional stuff, right? Like, I have my own functional stuff. Because I've been going, working out so much lately, I can transfer myself into and out of the bed now, which is less burden on my caregiver. And so thinking through like I can't say that I have a favorite story because they're all like just equally amazing. And it's this lifelong journey to like recovery and being productive members of society that I think we are kind of measuring in, although there are those physical outcomes as well, right?
Mm-hmm. And are there any mantras or quotes or things that have just been repeating in your brain to get you through, especially the tough moments?
Absolutely. And we've got them written around the walls at the fitness center. My favorite is the key to success is overcoming adversity. I'm sorry, the key to success is perseverance through adversity. Another one is nothing is impossible. We've got believe in yourself, one day at a time. And the last one is trust your work, right? So we've got those 5 things written on the walls in big letters, for everybody to kind of remember to push through.
Wow. And you said trust your work. I was thinking about you on your Instagram, and I will make sure that we link your Instagram because you have incredible stories, videos, pictures, just lots of information on it. But something that I couldn't stop watching is how the different machinery and equipment you have beyond a wheelchair. What is it called? The structure where you're walking and there's the braces on your legs?
The device is called an EXONR, EKSONR, by Exobionics. Super lightweight, but very supportive. It fits you like a glove. That video that you see me walking with my mother was the first time that I was in the device, right? So very emotionally overwhelming moment. And I was in front of like 400, 500 people. So that added some intensity to it. But when I tell you it's a workout, like it's not just a device you get in that's doing all the work. You have to do some work. So he put it on, there's a couple different modes that you can put it in. The mode that he put it in for me was an active mode where I actually had to sway left and right to shift my weight so that it would step, which is like, you really have to think about, engaging these different muscle groups for someone who's paralyzed to get the thing to move. It was it was incredible. We're trying to purchase one for the fitness center now so that other clients could use it and benefit from that.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Yeah, talk about putting in the work. Wow. So I have one more question for you, Mark. If someone comes to you and they want to make a difference and they're overwhelmed, they don't know where to start, do you have any advice for them?
Oh man, there's so many ways I feel to make an impact on this world. I like to focus on people and problems, right? I think if I can solve someone's problems, then they are more likely to, one, come back to me, right? But also to lend that thought process to other folks. A lot of people now ask me too, like, about starting a nonprofit and getting into the space holistically. And I tell everybody, it's not as hard as you think it is to start something. The struggle comes in with being consistent, on the hard days when you got told no from a grantor, or you didn't meet those financial quotas you thought you were going to meet, right? It can be daunting at times, but if your focus is on the impact and on those 2 P's, people and problems, you'll never feel like not fulfilled. Like it's a waiting game at times, and you have to be patient with yourself and with others. But that's how we get to progress.
That was excellent, Mark. Thank you so much. Where can people find you, follow you, and Split Second Foundation?
People can visit our website, www.splitsecondfoundation.org, to find more information about all of our programs, the events that we throw, learn about our board and some of our other stories. People can follow me. I'm on Instagram a lot. My handle is @MarkRaymond Jr. I also do some consulting work for the National Association of State Treasurers. So you can find me on their page. And just to give you a little bit about that, talking about that some of the other work, right? The financial literacy work. What I didn't know when I got hurt was that there was certain accounts that you could create to help you build wealth after disability. Most people that live on Medicaid or Social Security, those fixed incomes, have to keep their checking account under $2,000. What I recently learned and who I've been working for is this program called Able Today. Able are basically another type of financial tool, like a checking account, that people can open and save money to build wealth and buy a house, pay for college, even pay for certain like qualified expenses like food and other expenses related to your disability. They are 529 accounts, basically, administered by state treasurers. You can open them with the state treasurer's office. But you or a family member, depending, how on what your disability is, can go through and open these accounts. And it's a great asset for folks. But had to throw that little thing in there.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. I'm sure a lot of people don't know about it, for sure.
No, able accounts are amazing, and they really can be a huge tool for people as they want to save money and not do what so frequently people do now, is spend down that money, right? So they just spend it because they don't have any place else to store it. So this is it. This is the asset. And you can learn more about that at abletoday.org.
Excellent. Mark, I can't thank you enough for your time and for sharing such a personal story and all you have done since then. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. This was amazing.
Thanks so much for listening to Be the Good with Kate Chericello. Whether you're listening on YouTube or via podcast, it would mean the world if you liked, subscribed, and or left a review. You heard about the good? Now go out and be the good in your life this week. If you have stories of good news that need to be shared, please send me a message. Thanks again, and have a great week.